Obedience to Allah and His Messenger, prayers and peace be upon him, is not just a command. It is one of the defining qualities of true believers. A believer doesn't only speak about faith. He proves his faith through action, through obedience, responsiveness, and the commitment to what Allah has commanded, even when he doesn't yet understand the wisdom behind it. True faith means to submit before you understand, because you trust in the wisdom of Allah. You act first, then you ask, to increase in knowledge and certainty. Welcome to Islam Shore YouTube channel. I am Amr Abu Wafa, and today, by the will of Allah, we will talk about how obedience to Allah and His Messenger is an essential characteristic of true believers. Obedience to Allah and His Messenger, prayers and peace be upon him, is not an optional act. It is an inseparable part of faith. If you truly believe in Allah and His Messenger, this belief must appear in your actions, in your obedience, and you should never doubt the ruling revealed by Allah. That means a believer commits first, then reflects upon the wisdom afterwards. Allah Almighty says, obey Allah and obey the Messenger. We obey the Messenger, prayers and peace be upon him, not because he is a human like us, but because he is a messenger sent by Allah, and he doesn't speak from his own desire. Allah Almighty says, nor does he speak from his own inclination. It isn't but a revelation revealed. That means every command, every prohibition, and every guidance from the Prophet, prayers and peace be upon him, is in fact a revelation from Allah. So obedience to the Messenger is obedience to Allah Himself. And Allah Almighty also says, and whoever obeys Allah and His Messenger, He will admit him to gardens, beneath which rivers flow. But whoever turns away, He will punish him with a painful punishment. This verse shows the beautiful reward for obedience, paradise, and the painful consequence for disobedience. The Prophet, prayers and peace be upon him, said, whoever obeys me will enter paradise, and whoever disobeys me has refused. In other words, the one who obeys the Prophet, prayers and peace be upon him, is saying by his action, I want paradise. But the one who disobeys him is the one rejecting it with his own hands. Obedience is a proof of love. A true believer can't say, I love Allah, while disobeying Him. And obedience to the Prophet, prayers and peace be upon him, is part of obedience to Allah, because every command of the Prophet is revelation from the Almighty. The path of Allah is only one, the path of the Prophet, prayers and peace be upon him, and his companions. True happiness lays in the peace of a heart that lives in obedience to Allah. And whoever wants to guide others must start by reforming himself. You can't guide others while you yourself are far from obeying Allah. Allah Almighty says, but whoever disobeys Allah and His Messenger and transgresses His limits, He will put him into the fire to abide eternally therein, and he will have a humiliating punishment. This verse is very clear. Whoever disobeys Allah and His Messenger and crosses the boundaries set by Him, his end will be the fire and a humiliating punishment. We seek refuge with Allah from that. In the end, my dear brothers and sisters, obedience to Allah and His Messenger is not a burden. It's a comfort for the heart, a blessing in life, and a light that guides your path. Allah Almighty says, and obey Allah and the Messenger, that you may obtain mercy. So whoever obeys Allah and His Messenger, Allah opens for him the doors of mercy in this life and the hereafter. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with your loved ones and join our family here in Islam Shore, so we can continue this journey together, learning more about Allah and strengthening our faith in Him. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.